welcome back to my next little adventure. Now it's been a couple of weeks since the end of that winter sort of mini campaign. I've had a couple of weeks off to sort of recharge your batteries, warm up a little bit, and yeah, think about my next plan of attack really. So I've got 24 hours at my disposal, and I've decided to come and visit Whelford pools. Now I've not visited this place for a good while now. I did do a video on the other sort of lake that used to be the Syndicate Lake, and I believe that might have been a quick 24 hours, quick turnaround session, and managed to nick one off the top, but that was really hard graft. But yeah, I've come on to the lake that's known as Top Lake, and my session will be starting anytime soon from 10 AM this morning, Saturday morning, until 10 AM tomorrow morning. Now I don't know if you can tell by the birds chirping and that beautiful blue sky that we are going to be setting for an absolutely stunning, beautiful day. Now it's probably going to make the fishing tricky, but yeah, you got to be in it to win it, and I know that full well from yeah, my last little, like I say, my last little winter campaign. So yeah, I've got the barrow loaded, really minimal gear, overnight gear, 24-hour gear, and I believe that might have just been fish the other side of these trees. So I'm definitely in the right location. So where have I chosen to drop into? I have yeah, dropped into a swim known as the Point from right back in the early days of Whelford. Very, very popular swim, and one that I think that I am going to drop into for the next 24 hours. Gives me a lot of options. Got a little area here that could maybe less lower rigging down here. Nice overhanging tree that I could probably plop one into and just lower it down in here. Got all this open water, and then I've got another little area of this swim here which comes into this nice little corner bay area. So not only that, there's an aerator going over there as well, which the fish may just find rather attractive. And like I say, I've just got a lot of water but can't really be impacted by anybody else, which is perfect really. And if you know me and you like my style of fishing, I like to just sort of set traps and try and make something happen, and this swim gives me a lot of options to really sort of be able to do that. In there is just basically boilie crumb, powder, a load of liquid fish, glug, oil, sort of some leftover pellet that I had as well, just literally a few handfuls that I had left over, some crumbed down Royal Marine, just a whole mixture of different things. Hardly any food value apart from the sort of bigger sized pellets, and then like I say, a load of liquid, just making it a really stinky mix. And what I'm going to do, I think, is just kind of ball this up into balls and just sort of get it out on the lake bed, just sort of out of reach of the ducks and stuff, maybe like a rod length or so off the margins, and yeah, just allow that scent trail to go through on those various different spots, and just bring sort of like a bit of a cloud into the various different spots that I'm going to chuck it into. So like I say, really minimal food value. There's not been many fish caught recently. There's just been sort of like the odd one or two here and there from sort of regular faces that I've noticed on the Facebook page. So I don't want to go ploughing in loads of bait, but what I do want to do is draw in as much attraction to these spots as possible, and like I say, using a mix like this where there is not really much food value but more sort of particles and little bits and pieces, just to keep them grubbing around and just releasing all different sort of food signals as it's on the lake bed. So that's what I'm going to do. I think, like I say, I'm just going to bait 2 or 3 different spots. Like I say, I've got 24 hours, so I can use 2 rods, so there's always going to be a spot that I can maybe move one of the rods to. Even though it's beautifully sunny, I've not seen any sort of shadows or anything that looks remotely sort of fishy up and around the sort of upper layers at the moment. So I'm just going to see how the morning progresses and keep an eye on these spots. maybe see if there's an opportunity of a fish out the margins, but swims are filling up fast. It's just after sort of 10 o'clock now, so yeah, let's see if I can put this plan of attack into action. So this session, I think I'm just going to go with solid bags. The perfect little mouthful presentation, and yeah, I can get them out amongst that other sort of free offerings, and it'll just look, you know, like it's part of that carpet feed that I put down as well. So going to go with, on one of the bags, me ever faithful Baitworks Sea Monster wafters. It's just got a short little rig inside, wide gape hook, and a little 2.5 ounce flat pair lead. Now just off the back of that, I've got a solid bag stem and then some tungsten tubing, which is really going to help hug the bottom and hug those contours out on the lake bed. So just going to get this filled up with my bag contents. Real tiny little micro pellet. I have included a small couple of handfuls into that mix that I put out earlier. So yeah, loads of attraction, different breakdown rates, different food signals, and as I say in all my other videos, perfect for just compacting down these solid bags into nice little parcels of bait. So I'm just going to work this pellet into the bag and just fill it up so I've got enough of a lip at the top of the bag really just to lick and stick it. These are going to be kind of underarm casts, so these bags don't really need to be, you know, aerodynamic or too pretty on the eye, just for the fact that they're going to be going out really short distances. So as long as they're packed down nice and compact and tight, like I say, I'm not really too fussed on how the PVA at the top looks. It doesn't need to be taped off or tied down nice and tight. As long as it's stuck to the stem like so, then I'm happy. And just a case of licking and sticking in the corners. Just give it a little tap, just again work some pellets and that powder into all those little nooks and crannies. A little lick, press and hold it down for sort of 10 seconds, and as you can see it sticks to the corner. Then just sort of push your hook bait in up alongside the shank of the hook and repeat the process. Just lick it, press and hold it down 10 seconds. And then that's that quarter done. Now for a solid bag that literally took 30 seconds, that's pretty compact and tight. Left-hander and the right-hander have had to been split just because the angle for this cast isn't really possible, just due to this tree and being able to get the line sort of at the right angle. So I've split the rods, so I've got one separate sticks, but this one has gone over to sort of like a rod length off the margin. And what I've done is just kind of underarmed it from here and just pass the rod around this tree to allow me to get it onto this stick, because there are a few branches up there that kind of affect the way that you can get your rod over to it. I just didn't want to risk catching on any of these little branches sort of that are coming down from the main branch. So with the sort sort of empty space of the bank there. I've just flicked it over from here, passed the rod into my other hand, and then just lowered it down onto my stick. Again, solid bag, like that was going out onto the other rod, so both on solid bags. And I'll just stay down there now for a bit, and just see what happens and reassess and just have a little mooch up and down that margin, just to see if there's anything sort of happening. Fish are sort of making their way in. As you can see, there's a number of trees that have been cleared out around this margin as well, which is allowing that sun to really penetrate down into this area of the lake. So this part of the lake will see that sun all day, due to the fact that they've now stripped back a number of these trees around this edge to really maximise the amount of sunlight that is going into this area of the lake. So you never know, one or two fish may just venture in for that warmth and that sanctuary away from the sort of main area of the lake. Now this right-hander, I've got a solid bag again. Just going over to the sort of gap in between the tree and the aerator. That went out absolutely lovely. I did clip it up beforehand because I really didn't want to go sort of decorating the tree or you know, overcooking it as such. I just wanted it to hit the clip and just drop down nicely, which it did, so I'm really happy with that. And as I mentioned again, there's a solid bag on that one, just to mimic the bits and pieces that I put out earlier on, loose feed in these two areas, just to, it just looks and fits amongst that sort of carpet feed really. So that is where we're at. Not seeing anything, not seeing any sort of shadows or fish anywhere remotely near the surface, but I'm happy the way the rods have gone out for the moment. Well, as this is only a 24-hour session, normally I would be tucked up underneath my Witchwood tactical brolly, but this weekend I've got a new home, so I've got my hands on the new Witchwood tactical compact Bivvy. Now this is the sort of little brother of the tactical Bivvy, so a smaller 2-rib Bivvy, so quicker and easier and more lightweight obviously to pack down, and for those shorter sessions I am going to be doing a full review of this Bivvy. But yeah, I thought while I've got it here, why not give it a bit of a sort of road test this weekend, and yeah, see how it sort of, how quickly it can go up and just how comfortable it is space wise, that sort of thing. And I think this peg will be perfect for you know, that short session shelter, that compact Bivvy to just fit in. So I'm going to get it out of the bag, get it set up, and just see how nicely it tucks in this swim. I've not used all of the items that come in the bag, i.e. the ground sheet or the sort of tension poles that run from the 2 ribs, because as you can tell, obviously the weather is beautiful and there is no wind, so I really don't need, you know, it to be rock solid. But with probably 10 pegs, even if it was windy, that ain't going anywhere. That is nice and tight, and like I say, all pegged down nicely and fits in this swim absolutely beautifully. There is loads of space left. Massively underestimated the size of this one. So view from the back of the swim, look at that, still loads of space in the front, even space at the back of the swim. I just tried to get it into an area where the ground was a little bit softer, because as you could imagine it's a bit of a nightmare getting pegs into this swim. But yeah, that is rock solid. On the back there, nice big zip open vent panel, so on even hotter days than today, get a bit of airflow through it. But yeah, that is the sort of very first look at the compact tactical Bivvy. Keep your eyes peeled in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing a full up close video on the tactical compact bivvy and its bigger brother, the tactical bivvy. But for now, I'm just going to chuck a few bits under there, and I might just go and have a little mooch around the margin there, see if there's anything happening. Believe it or not, at the base of that tree, just down in there, tucked right up out the way, where no one, not even I, can get to them, is sort of 3 or 4 fish, just literally led side by side, just right underneath that overhanging tree trunk. There's absolutely no way you'll be able to get a rig anywhere near them from where I'm fishing, and they are tucked right up in there. I'm just stood over the top of them watching them, and yeah, they are literally not venturing out at all. But yeah, believe it or not, there's 3 or 4 fish tucked under there. There you go, look, there's another one just down there. Don't know if you can make it out. He's just dropped down. Well, I've been watching fish over on that far margin for the last hour or so, racking my brain, thinking what I could do, try and get a sort of a bait or a bag down there, you know, just to see if they're interested in taking a bait underneath the sanctuary of that tree. And yeah, I've just been sort of stood there watching them back and forth, and you know, they're in there and could 3, 4, 5, 6 fish. And I did text Ollie, one of the bailiffs, one of the guys down at Whelford pools. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to sort of stalk in and around sort of like the other areas, apart from obviously from your swim. So yeah, what I've done is then knocked up a solid bag, walked it round, lowered it in, and then walked it back round the bank. It was a bit of sort of jungle warfare, but it was the only way I was going to get a bag remotely anywhere close to those fish. Now the beauty of that tree is that it kind of comes out sort of like at an angle. There is nothing underneath that is going to cause any harm. You know, the odd branches come down pretty much touching the water, so it's a bit of a canopy really, hence why the fish are under there, and they know full well that they are safe. So what I've done is kind of made my way around the bank, lowered one in sort of around this area here, and then just walked it back round the bank, passing the rod round all the sort of trees and the sort of marginal bushes and shrubbery and God knows what else. And yeah, in an absolute miracle, I've managed to get it out there, and I managed to get the line bang tight over to the baited rig, and it's not got caught on anything or anything like that. So yeah, I managed to do that absolutely spot on, which I'm quite impressed with. And that was probably the only way that I was going to get a bag remotely close to them. I could have sort of attempted to flick a rod over there in the gap and then lowered it in by hand, but even still, there's the odd little branch here and there that is basically just impeding a nice clear cast, and I didn't want to go hanging it up a tree or anything like that. So I've literally opted to sort of walk around, lower it in and walk it back round, and yeah, thankfully I managed to get it down there, get the line all nice and tight, pointing at the bait without it catching on anything. So really super happy with that. Gonna leave that now, at least until it's just about to get dark. I know there's fish visiting over there, I know that there's fish over there in numbers, so it's just whether they're confident enough to go down on the bag contents. Other than that, all I've heard is 2 shows in the swim to my right, about 10-15 yards out, but obviously I can't fish for those. So yeah, both the rods are out. I wasn't 100% happy with the left-hander anyway, which left me sort of scratching my head about doing something with it and trying to make something happen. So I'm glad that I managed to get it out there and do it. So it looks like it's just probably a waiting game now. So the fish are still down in this corner. Funnily enough, I had a couple of indications on my right hand rod earlier, and then followed about half an hour later by a series of bleeps on this left hander. So it is looking very promising going into this night. Well, the sun has just set. Fish have been showing all over this half of the lake at least, and more importantly they've been showing down to my left as well. One sounded half decent underneath that tree, where obviously I've got a rod either side of it, and there we go, right on cue. One is just crashed out in open water. But yeah, in that first sort of half an hour, as that light started to dip down, they really come alive. Numerous shows all across the lake. We have got a fish in the net, a mirror. What is the chances of that? Really, what is the chances? Really bizarre take. I don't even think it realised it was hooked, to be quite honest with you. But anyway, let's get the mat and that sorted, get him out and have a little look. I am freezing. There we go then, look at that one. £16, just over £16. Taking on a solid bag, lowered underneath that tree, round the margin. Walked back round, passing the rod between the trees and the bushes and whatever else, and just doing that something a little bit different has resulted in this one just before midnight. And there we go then, the other side, really nice, good condition, pretty mirror, full of some lovely scales right through down to its tail. I'm going to slip this one back, get that solid bag made up. Not going to be able to get it back underneath that tree, but I'm just going to flick it down from where I see the shows this evening, and you never know, there still might be a chance of another one. Well, good morning. It's just coming up to around 7 AM. As you can tell, it's another fresh one. It was absolutely freezing last night. I had that fish around midnight, and yeah, that was freezing on the old fingertips. You know, I could just couldn't get warm after that, really. Tossing and turning all night. Just, yeah, really unsettled night, but I don't care. I've had a fish, and yeah, it makes it all worthwhile, so yeah, I really don't care. You know, I can have a nice lazy Sunday when I get home, but for now, need to keep working at it. Got a few hours left. I am going to redo the rods, just because I know the left hander obviously didn't go out to where it was. I want to get back under that tree. It's still 3 hours, so you never know, it could easily get back in there. I could quite easily have another fish from there if I can get it back in the spot where I had it yesterday. So I am going to redo that one, and I am going to just re-chuck the other one back over to the aerator as well, just to freshen things up, because that's been out probably the best part of what, just shy of 12 hours now, so that could do with a freshen up as well. So yeah, just made a green tea. I'm going to neck that, get these rods sorted, and see if anything happens over the next 3 hours. What a beautiful morning it has turned out to be, which is absolutely perfect for drying that lot off. So I managed to get everything dried off, packed down, and as you can see, onto the barrow. We're into the last 30 minutes of the session now, so it's just me and the rods left out. I don't anticipate anything happening in the next 30 minutes, but you just never know. They will stay out till 10 o'clock on the dot, and I'll whip them in and get myself off home for a much needed shower and some breakfast. So if you got this far, thank you for watching. Hope it's been a enjoyable video for you. As always, feel free to like the video, comment down below, make sure you subscribe to my channel. There's going to be obviously a lot more videos coming your way over the course of the year, as we are now able to get back out on the bank and do these night sessions as well. So really going to try and mix things up this year and get to as many different venues as I can. So yeah, going to try and keep the content varied, different venues, different tactics, how I approach these places, and hopefully stick a few carp on the mat in between as well. So from me, in a very sunny, stunning Whelford pools, thanks for watching. We'll catch up next time. Stay safe, and we'll speak soon.